This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the News of the Week for July 24th, 2021. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. It is no secret that big tech is targeting conservatives. There are so many examples that I could make a whole video series about it. Now we know that the White House is targeting inconvenient facts on behalf of Facebook. Lest you doubt me.
Okay, so these 12 people who you have on a list, 12 individuals, do they know that somebody at the Surgeon General's office is going through their profile?
I'm happy to get you the citation of where that comes from. There's no secret list information.
The big concern, though, I think, for a lot of people on Facebook is that now this is Big Brother watching you.
They're more concerned about that than people dying across the country because of a pandemic where misinformation is traveling on social media platforms. That feels unlikely to me. If you have the data to back that up, I'm happy to discuss it.
So is there any concern that things you're trying to block or have taken down might someday turn out to be...
We don't take anything down. We don't block anything. Facebook and any private sector company makes decisions about what information should be on their platform. Of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government. We've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook.
The fact that the White House and this administration are giving talking points is the very definition of Operation Mockingbird. Most importantly, Psaki helps President Trump's case in court. One of the main reasons that the Hong Kong protesters are not nearly as successful as they could be is the lack of access to the internet. The reason that freedom of speech is listed so high on the Bill of Rights is that without this, there's no criticism of those in power. This is exactly why the CCP and Cuban government want internet access cut. However, there may be a way to circumvent their will through the FCC. According to Brennan Carr, director of the FCC, we can use high-altitude balloons to give the people of Cuba access to the internet after the regime threatened to cut it off. The only catch is that the Biden administration would have to authorize it. But that would mean that they would have to admit that communism was bad, which does not fit the narrative of the Democrats. At a time when the media is concerned about stopping super spreaders and wearing masks, Lowland Air Force Base in Texas is being used by the DHS to transport illegals all over the country. An email leak to Tucker Carlson reveals that passenger jets are going to be loaded with undocumented persons. No one on the base is allowed to take pictures or post to social media, and all questions are to be referred to public affairs. Not only is the military going woke with CRT, but now our own military is being used to service people from other countries, with no benefit to America whatsoever. Every single day, social media is flooded with images and quotes saying that not only are you doomed to die without taking the vaccine, but you might take others with you. That makes about as much sense as saying that your umbrella will not work in the rain unless I use mine. Judicial Watch has obtained 75 pages of records detailing 895 serious adverse reactions after veterans were given the COVID-19 vaccine. This includes 20 cardiac arrests, 36 strokes, 15 cases of deep vein thrombosis, 10 heart attacks, and 19 pulmonary embolisms, as well as 26,000 less serious reactions. We know that big tech places a notice to mislead the sheeple anytime the virus or vaccine is mentioned. People need to know that this vaccine is not safe for everyone, and going door to door getting people signed up or creating a database is the last thing that we need. In the olden days, racism was treating people of different skin tones or national origins differently. The new definition of racism is treating all skin tones and national origins the same. We are all, of course, familiar with critical race theory being taught in our schools that teaches that white people are the oppressors and the cause of all evil in the world. However, that is not enough for the woke. Hasbro has initiated internal training to address the internal biases of the oppressors.
Children as young as 2 are already using race to reason about people's behaviors, and we may see this play out in daycare or on the playground in how kids are starting to choose or exclude playmates and friends.
Wow. By 2 years old, quote, already using race to reason about people's behavior, and they exclude kids on playgrounds.
Yeah.
Shocking.
2-year-old racists is just an absurd concept.
Instead of realizing that this could be a blow to their bottom line and stopping CRT, they fired the whistleblower. I guess my nieces and nephews will not be getting any of these toys come birthdays and Christmas. Telephones, cars, the internet, and planes. What do all of these have in common? They were initially very expensive and only the wealthy could afford them. As the free market changed and expanded, more people were able to access things, and now they are available to virtually everyone. Naturally, wealthy socialists like Bernie Sanders believe that millionaires and billionaires need to be taxed more because they have money to spend on going to space. I would like to point out that they are using their own money rather than stealing from taxpayers like NASA does. I have no doubt that this will show even more people the power of the free market. Not only that, space travel will become even less expensive, to the point where it would be the equivalent of a middle-class vacation in just a matter of decades. Joe Cervantes, a Democrat state senator in New Mexico, has been denied communion by both his pastor and his bishop. Other Catholic Democrats may be in the same boat soon. You cannot and must not receive the Eucharist if you are in grave or mortal sin. I certainly think that killing children and decriminalizing their murder counts as a mortal sin. Cervantes appealed to Pope Francis on the matter, and many Catholic Democrats wrote a letter to the bishop saying that it would grieve the Holy Spirit. I think they are the ones who grieve the Holy Spirit. I disagree with virtually everything in the Democrat Party. This is the rare exception where I agree with the Democrats and not the Republicans. I do not even drink beer, so I definitely would not try any of these drugs. However, the medical benefits to medical marijuana with things like chronic pain cannot be understated. At the same time, we must talk about victimless crimes. We have already tried making this illegal, and we got drug cartels and gangs that finance their operations with it. For heaven's sakes, we should have seen this coming. Prohibition of alcohol created Al Capone. Also, alcoholic consumption and concentration got even worse during Prohibition, and there is evidence to suggest that marijuana is more concentrated while it is illegal. All that being said, any good Christian who sees his body as a temple of the Holy Spirit would never take marijuana recreationally, just like smoking and snuff. Texas Democrats, because they do not want people to vote, decided to flee Texas like spoiled children. They infamously flew maskless, and I normally would not care, since masks are nothing more than security theater. However, Democrats preach that a mask is the only thing that will stop the most dangerous virus in the history of humanity. 3 of those Democrats tested positive for the China virus and met with Kamala Harris. Officially, she did not test positive for the virus, but we all know how reliable those tests are, and all we have is the word of Circleback Psaki. However, the crybabies are not done yet. Now having them come back to Texas is akin to slavery.
We refuse to be a hostage.
That's right.
To remain a hostage within the state of Texas. And I know that there are search warrants out for us, and I'm ready to be arrested. What do you do to a slave if you don't do nothing but arrest them when they flee? We fled Texas, and if they want to arrest me, go ahead. I'm ready to be arrested. Haven't we done enough?
Right.
Have we paid the price enough?
Yes.
What is it going to take for us to be able to be Americans in this country? I am an American, and I want to vote without somebody infringing upon my rights and the rights of my constituents.
If those Democrats keep fighting for civil rights like this, soon everyone will have the same rights that they had for decades. The deep state intended to use the pandemic to bring about control of the population, and this was partially successful, if only because parents started to learn exactly what their kids were being taught. This is not just limited to critical race theory, but it extends to the lies and misinformation of evolution that offer no scientific benefit whatsoever. Some schools teach that you can just wake up one day and be a new gender, and those that teach it is perfectly acceptable to kill your own child by handing out free contraceptive pills. New York is having porn literacy classes. I am rarely ever at a loss for words, but I am now. We gave the schools control of our kids, and we are somehow surprised that Zoomers are falling away from the church. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also please consider following me on social media.